it's Becky back with another video. Today I'm going to have a look at the core watercolors I was given for Christmas. The first one I'm going to look at is the Earth Colors, 6 5mm tubes, and you can see just a little basic swatch of what they look like down here. On the back of the cardboard sleeve, we've got Core's exclusive binder gives colour greater intensity and clarity. The binder that Core uses is apparently their sort of magic special formula, is called Aquazole. Normally the binder that's used in watercolour paints is gum arabic and sometimes honey as well, but these guys have something a little bit different, so I'm really curious to try it because apparently it makes them act quite differently. Also on the back we've got Naples Yellow, Transparent Brown Oxide, Venetian Red, Sap Green, Indigo and Raw Umber. And these are the colours in this set. It's not a great set obviously if you're just starting out and you need to get your primary colours, but as a sort of an extra set, it's pretty cool. I love Indigo. It's one of my favourite colours, so I've had to get Indigo. Inside we've got a lovely tin box here, and it's got these pretty cool sort of indentations. When we flip it over you can see them, and that would double really well as a palette for mixing. And inside we've got a little booklet and the tubes of paint, which are kind of in this little, I don't know, cardboard thingo which I'm not that keen on, if I'm perfectly honest. And what I'm thinking about doing is, once I've emptied out all of the boxes, I might combine all of the tubes into one box, get rid of the cardboard inserts because they just annoy me, and then keep the other two boxes maybe as empty palettes. But for now we'll just leave them like that. Inside is a little bit more of a description. Deep, rich, beautiful colour. Core's exclusive binder gives greater colour intensity and clarity while retaining the best qualities of traditional watercolours. Core offers a strength, range and versatility unmatched in the history of watercolors. And that's a pretty big statement, so I'm getting really curious to see what these guys are like. Now, in here is a swatch chart of their whole colour range. At the moment I am not entirely sure because I have not counted them, but I might pop in a number once I've actually done that. Alright, so that is this one. Each tube, as I said, is 5 milliliters. And now I'm going to swatch all of these ones out so we can have a closer view of them. I've made a swatch chart here, and I am firstly wetting the paper with plain water because we really want to see the Aquazole in action. It's supposed to make the colours really run, so let's see if it does that. Our first one here is Naples Yellow. And yep, you can see that running quite a lot, which is also quite unusual I find for neutral colours, because they don't seem to run, especially if it's an earth colour, as much as say some of the more bright and transparent colours. Naples Yellow is a series 1 and is made up of 3 pigments, PBR24, PBK7 and PW4. It's semi-transparent, non-staining and has excellent light fastness. Here I'm just diluting it out as much as possible to see what sort of range it has. I could see this being a really good base for a skin colour if you mix it with other paints. And I'm just trying to add a bit more mass tone here to get the real sort of the strongest part of the colour, leading into a nice graduation into the lightest. Next up we have Transparent Brown Oxide. This is also a series 1 and is made up from the pigment PR101, which is a very common one and is synthetic iron oxide. This is also very light fast, as earthy colours generally are, and it's also transparent and staining as well. Here I'm also doing the graduation from darkest to lightest so we can get an idea of how it looks. A little bit more darkening up the top. It's quite a pretty colour. It's that very rusty orange colour that's useful in a lot of paintings when you're painting natural landscapes. Onwards to the next one, which is Venetian Red, And this is also PR 101, but this, unlike the transparent brown oxide, is very, very opaque as well as being staining. So it's interesting how you can have the same pigment number, but it can create very different colour. I'm making it as dark as possible, but I did have a few issues with this one making it dark. It was like the paper drank it up or something. So you'll see me later in this video going over it again once it's dried. This one also ran quite well at the beginning, and it's a really pretty red colour, very terracotta or a little bit deeper than that. I really like it. The next one is sap green, which didn't run as much as the others, although you can see it's slightly dispersing here. This is a series 2 made up of PG36, PR101, there's that PR101 again, and PY150. It's light, fast, transparent and staining. I really like this colour actually. It's a lovely, lovely green and one of the better sap greens out there. Some of them tend to be a bit dull, but I thought this was quite bright. Considering this is in the Naturals set, I was pleasantly surprised, but that's because I always like bright colours. I'm adding a bit of darker colour here so you can see its lovely, lovely vibrancy, and you can see how transparent it is just from looking at the way it flows. Onwards to the next one. Wow, the Indigo is my absolute favourite out of the set. Look at it run. It's crazy. I really love this colour. I think it's a really, really beautiful colour. It's series 1 made up of PB15:3, PBK7 and PV19, so it's 3 pigments. The light fast is not quite so good, although it's still considered as very good. It's mainly transparent and it's staining as well. I really like this colour. Look at the way it's just tendrils going down the page. I sort of painted it to get it a little bit more even so we can see what it looks like once it's dried. I'm going in for another swatch at the top here just to make it as dark as I possibly can, because indigo is a very, very dark pigment, well, 3 pigments in this case, and I just really want you to be able to see the difference between its darkest mass tone and going into the lighter colours where you can really see the blue coming through. Uh-oh, we have seepage! No matter how hard I tried, I could not keep indigo within its lines, so I had to give it a bit of a blot every so often. Lucky last in this set is raw Umber Natural, and you can see this one spreading a lot as well, which I really like. Raw Umber Natural is a series 1 colour again, which most earth colours generally are. It's made up of PBR7, which is a natural iron oxide. It has excellent light fastness, it's semi-transparent and moderately staining. I found this one quite difficult to get a very, very deep colour out of. I thought this was quite weak by comparison to a few other raw umbers I've tried. I don't know why. Maybe it was just because I'd squirted out some fresh paint out of the tube and sometimes it doesn't quite work with the binder. This is not uncommon, as I've experienced this with other brands as well. Okay, once again the indigo is running. Why you? Anyway, what can we do? Basically, I just got a tissue and swabbed it all off, as I did a couple of times in this video, and I'm just repainting this swatch again with some more raw umber just to make it as smooth as possible, because obviously when these colours dry they do shift a bit, and so it's really, really hard to judge paints until you've let them dry properly, and then you can see how they're going to look on the paper. As you saw with this one, the Venetian red dried really, really palely, which is very unusual for Venetian red. It's usually a very, very deep colour, so I thought I'd put some more on top, and this time I haven't put water on the paper, I've just gone straight in with the paint, and this is as dark as I could get the paint to go. And then I'm using a little bit of water just to spread it out and get that nice graduation, or gradation as some people say, just to get a nice idea of what the Venetian red looked like, because I didn't think it had a fair go. And also with this paper I'm using, which is 100% cotton and it's an Etchr Sketchbook, I found in the past that this paper is very absorbent. Alright, down the bottom I decided I wanted to make a couple of extra mixes. mostly in particular just to see what some of these colours can do together. I really wanted to see what kind of black I could make. So indigo and raw umber, if you mix a blue and a brown together, you usually get a deep grey, or in this case as black as I can possibly go. So you'll see me just adding one colour, then the next, then the other one, just combining them to see how dark I can make these paints go. This is pertinent in my next video, which I'm actually going to paint a picture, and I really wanted to have a black colour, or at least a really deep colour which would suffice as black. Oh, and I was also quite interested just to see what sap green and indigo look like together, so you can see me popping down some indigo. I tried to lighten it a bit though, water it down, because the sap green's obviously not quite as strong as the indigo, and I'm just combining the two together. I think it makes really a rather nice sort of foresty green. I really like it, so I'm hoping to use this one in the future. I really like this sort of dark green. I think that's a nice mix. Up the top, I then decided that I could make a primary triad using Naples Yellow, Venetian Red and Indigo, because that's technically a yellow, a red and a blue. So here we can see me mixing up Naples Yellow and Venetian Red first of all to make an orange, well, as much as I can. Personally, I thought this looked almost exactly the same as the transparent brown Oxide, which was quite interesting. And then the next one, I'm adding blue to yellow to make green, so Naples Yellow and Indigo. I had to really water that indigo down, but then I added a little bit more, and I found that I got quite a sort of, what would you call it, a very mossy, deep kind of earthy green. It's not too bad, I don't mind it. And the last one is Venetian Red and Indigo to see if we can get any kind of a purple or a violet. I'm not really holding my breath here because they are two very deep colours. Although you can see it is kind of going purplish. I'd say it's a very earthy purple again. I mean, obviously all of these colours are very low saturation when it comes to just the natural pigments, rather than it being, you know, super bright and vibrant. Well, not so much vibrant, but like neon. That's the sort of colour I'm thinking, you know, like really in your face. But overall, once they've dried, I do quite like the colours. I think the green and the blue are my two favourites. I really love the sap green and the indigo. This indigo does go quite blue, and I think that's because it has the phthalo blue mixed in with it, which obviously is a very strong colour. I quite like the Naples Yellow. I think that would be great as a skin base. I think the raw umber was not my favourite. It's a bit sort of wishy-washy, and I don't know. I'll have to do some more experimenting with that. Oh, and here come my lovely set of secondary colours, the orange, the green and the purple. They're okay. If you're looking for a basic set, probably you're not going to want to go with these ones unless you do a lot of sort of landscapes or earthy style paintings. It'd probably also be quite a good set for doing portraits as well. And that orange is really, yeah, pretty much identical to the transparent bronze Oxide, which I think is really interesting, probably because they are both made up of PR101. The green's quite earthy, and the purple, once again, is closer to grey, but there is a bit of a purple tinge to it, which I quite like. And going down, I like the Venetian Red also. And then I was surprised at how dark this got. I'm really happy with that, because I thought with the brown being a little bit wishy-washy it wasn't going to work as well. But I really like the indigo and raw umber together. I'm happy with that. And my sap green and indigo, I don't know what happened there. It was like I got this crazy tide line. But I do like that it's a nice deep green. Overall, I quite like this muted set, and the proof will be in the next video when I try to make an actual painting using just these colours. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again real soon. Swatch you later!